What is up, everybody? This is the UFC 266 weigh-in recap, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. We'll look through how the fighters looked on the scales. We'll talk about each of the matchups. Make sure you guys smash that like button. I need at least 105 likes on this weigh-in recap. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Turn on those post notifications as well so you do not miss a video. Tons of content here on the MMA Experts channel. Much love to everybody that supports. Really do appreciate you guys for making this possible, and I cannot wait for this card tomorrow. We have to break it down right now. UFC 266. Let's get to the first fight. There has been some cancellations and some bout swaps. Not this first fight, though. It's Omar Morales, Jonathan Pierce. It's a matchup I really like. If you guys watched videos earlier on in the week, you know who I like. It's Omar Morales. I think stylistically, this is a very intriguing matchup, and I feel like it really does favor Omar a lot. We can see him on the scales there. Looks incredible, as he always does. He tends to come in fantastic shape. There's Jonathan Pierce. Looks good as well. Both guys really lean, really fit. I expected nothing less from either of these guys. Both on the rise at featherweight. Jonathan Pierce, big win against Kai Kamaka in the last one. Omar Morales, I mean, he had that tough loss against Chikadze, but bounced back. Beats Shane Young, who's a pretty solid striker. I like this fight a lot. Pierce definitely going to look to wrestle here. I know he can stand up and strike, and he's pretty confident, I would say, out of both stances. Morales, though, dangerous kickboxer. Level above with the kickboxing skill set. Yes, he is over 35, but he's a young 35, and he hasn't taken a lot of damage throughout his career outside of that Chikadze fight. I mean, he's had pretty swell performances inside of the UFC. I think he's got potential to make it towards that top 15. I like the way he takes the center of the octagon. Decent hands, really nasty low kicks, also has a good jab, which is great to see in mixed martial arts. Pierce on the other side, striking-wise, he's pretty athletic and quick. Good straight punches. His stances are competent out of both of them. And you know what? I will say I'd call him a tricky stand-up fighter. Now, he's used to being a fair amount taller and longer than a decent amount of opponents, at least in his last one. This one, though, reach disadvantage, 74 to 71, so 3.5 inches, and he is 1 inch taller. I think that Morales picks him apart in the striking range. Should be a level difference, and he should get the knockout. Omar Morales, second round KO. The odds, where are they sitting at for this fight? Minus 155, minus 146 at best value, plus 145. Jonathan Pierce. I like Morales. I like him KO, TKO. I think he definitely will get this one out of here. Could it be in the first round? I think Pierce survives it and makes it a tough first, but I think he gets hurt bad in the second. Stoppage, second round, Morales. I like that plus 350 tag for Morales to win by a KO TKO. It's a good bet. I think that really is. Under 2.5 is plus 135. I definitely could see this fight being under 2.5. I think it's likely we see a stoppage. KO TKO Morales. That is my pick for this fight, and I think it's a damn good one. It's a fight that I am very excited to watch to start the night. Omar Morales, confident pick to start it off. Next fight, you got a Diaz Army guy who's 0-2-1 in his last 3. Hasn't fought in, what, almost 5 years? He gets this fight because he's a Diaz Army guy. That's Martin Sano, and he fights Matthew Semelberger, who I'd say is a pretty well-rounded fighter. Let's look at them at the scales. You know, I got to give Sano the respect. He's in decent shape. Semelberger in good shape as always as well. The matchup, what do I see? Well, with Sano, it's that awkward Stockton-style boxing you see from a lot of those Diaz guys. He does drop that lead hand a lot, which I don't like. I'd assume it's been corrected to some point. Last I knew, he was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt, which, sure, that's a factor, but granted, this is mixed martial arts. You have to be active. Semelberger is fighting good competition. Decision loss to Chaos Williams, who's a beast. He's a really rangy kickboxer with really decent hands. I like the way he closes distance with his jab, and I feel like he'll also be able to fend off any grappling attacks. This should be a one-sided display. I think Semelberger beats up Martin Sano for 3 rounds. I think he definitely could get a KO TKO. I think Semelberger is a lock pick of the night. Semelberger, minus 400. Sano, plus 450. Let's see. I think the over 1.5 cashes well here at plus 105. I think Sano's got the durability to survive, but I think he's going to get whooped. Semelberger could get the KO TKO, minus 134 for that. I don't think he'll get a submission on the crafty jiu-jitsu fighter in Sano. Decision, Semelberger's plus 330. That definitely could happen. I do think he could get the finish. I expect a lopsided decision. Matthew Semelberger for the W over Martin Sano in our second fight of the night. think it should be a fun fight nonetheless, and I'm really curious to see how Diaz's boy looks. A lot of them have not looked great in the UFC career. Another Diaz Army guy, Nick Maximov. He fights against short notice replacement Cody Brundrage. This is a hard matchup stylistically for him. Wrestling, Nick Maximov has a community college background. The other man, good background. I feel like the Division II wrestling credentials of Brundrage are a factor in this fight a lot here. Now, let's check them out on the scales. Maximov in good shape. Brundrage as well. He's coming in on short notice, but he was supposed to fight on the Contender Series on October 5th. That's not that long out. I believe he's in fantastic shape. He was able to make that 185-pound limit. I like this fight. I think that Maximov on the ground could give Brundrage a serious amount of issues. I think he'll really struggle to get it there. The hips will be too good. And now, striking, we haven't seen a ton of Maximov on the feet. You know, we're used to that slick jiu-jitsu. We saw him win a hard-fought fight at heavyweight on the Contender Series. I think Brundrage too much for him, guys. He's got a pressure style, some solid striking, and decent overhands. I gotta say, I think the Contender Series experience is a factor. He's fought better guys throughout his career. Yes, Maximov on the Contender Series as well, but up at heavyweight and against a guy that I don't think is all that good of a heavyweight. No offense to his previous opponent, Oscar Cota, but he's not. I think that we see Brundrage win. Method of victory. I think he can crack Maximov with an overhand in the second round. I think there'll be frustration for Maximov when he cannot get this fight to the floor, and I think he could get stopped. Now, I do think it's possible they see 3 rounds. I would advise a straight money line dog bet if you are looking to bet the dog. Plus 112, minus 112. Near pick'ems, but still underdog play. I got to go with my man Brundrage for the W. Over 1.5, minus 185 could be the casher here. I think that is a pretty confident pick. I could see late second round, third round KO, TKO. Wouldn't want to go too nuts with the props. I'm liking the over 1.5 the most here. Fight starts round 2, minus 280 is a lock. I don't think this is a one-round fight. Brundrage, KO, TKO, plus 400, but we have to talk about Maximov by submission because if he gets it there, he has a chance. Plus 325 for that. Extremely possible, but not that likely. I got to go Brundrage. I have to go underdog. I have to go with the short notice replacement. This is a difficult stylistic matchup for Maximov. Cody Brundrage, win. Inside the distance, KO, TKO, round 2 or 3 here. And I like that over 1.5 bet. The next fight of the night, if you haven't, smash that like button. We need at least 105 likes. Subscribe, turn on the post notifications if you're new. Uros Medic versus Jalin Turner. I am pumped for this fight. Stylistically, striker versus striker matchup. You look at Uros, southpaw stance, really aggressive and explosive with his striking, and he starts fast. Can go a little too crazy, and I think that could gas him out. You look at Turner, a tricky southpaw with a pressure forward style, but really good boxing. When you see a nice 1-2, at least when I see a nice 1-2 in an MMA fighter, I think that can go a long way, especially with the reach advantage here. You look, 75.5, 71, lightweight division bout. Turner's a tall-ass lightweight, and he's long and rangy as well. The boxing will be the difference maker. Medic will probably open up and leave some possible openings for a knockout. Both guys, though, shredded. Both guys in great shape. So, nonetheless, physically, even matchup. Reach advantage, boxing skill set advantage, and I think patience is a real virtue here, and I think Jalin Turner has it. KO TKO, second round. Jalin Turner for the W. He's an underdog. Plus 108 to minus 111. Best value for both. I like Turner. KO, TKO. The value of that. Plus 455 at best value is a solid bet. If you can find it in that plus 400 range, that's good stuff. Medic will come at him hard. If Turner survives, he wins the fight. I do think this fight does start round 2. It's minus 240 for that. I think knockout second round, Jalin Turner. The boxing will lead him to victory against Uros, the Dr. Medic. Next fight of the night, Roxanne Modaferri and Taila Santos. This is essentially a showcase fight for Taila. Roxanne hasn't looked good in some time. She never really looks that great, though. Win-loss. Beat Andrea Lee, beat Macy Barber, but losses to Lauren Murphy, who's fighting for the title, and Vivian Arujau. Taila Santos could essentially be 18-0 if not for spotty judges' decisions. You look at the matchup, Roxy's a pretty awkward striker, but her jiu-jitsu's excellent. Very good inside of the clinch, physically strong, and when she gets on top is very dangerous. Good ground and pound as well. Taila Santos is really solid with her grappling. Excellent hips. I feel like her physical strength is an advantage in this fight, and on the feet, she's much faster, much more technical with her Muay Thai. I think she picks apart the Happy Warrior towards a dominant unanimous decision. Win for Taila Santos in this bout. I see her beating Roxanne. I really do, and I don't think it'll be all that competitive. She's a huge favorite, though. Minus 360, plus 365. I wish there was a way to pick Roxy. I just can't see it here. Fight goes the distance, minus 240. It's possible. Santos for the W, though, is my pick. Modaferri, though, if she were to get a submission, plus 1,200, it's unlikely. I see fight going the distance, and I see it a W for Taila Santos. I think it's going to be dominant striking, good takedown defense, even top control from Taila Santos. I think she beats up Modaferri here. Fight goes the distance, minus 240 is an okay bet. Taila Santos, though, not a ton of value on betting her. Maybe if you want to crazy parlay it up, but you'd probably be smarter to avoid this women's MMA bout from a betting perspective, but definitely see Santos winning. Now, the next fight of the night is a sweet heavyweight fight. You have Shamil Abdurakhimov, who's a top-line heavyweight, even though most people probably don't know him. Chris Daukaus, the hottest prospect in the heavyweight division, maybe, aside from Tom Aspinall. He's really on the rise, and he's broken into the rankings, and he's getting a very stern test. The last fight was 2 years ago for Abdurakhimov, lost to Blaydes, but look at the W's. Solid names on that resume. All victories. Can Shamil Abdurakhimov get inside, get this fight to the floor? Chris Daukaus, black belt in jiu-jitsu, nasty boxer. I feel like his knockout power is a factor. You look at Abdurakhimov's boxing, it's to land takedowns, but he will throw power overhands and whatnot. I'll be honest here. I have to ride with the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania fighter, Chris Daukaus. We'll look at these guys on the scales here. There's Daukaus looking normal. Both guys chubbier heavyweights. The physiques don't matter in fighting, and especially in this matchup. I think Daukaus is a clear-cut speed edge, clear-cut boxing advantage. Takedown defense should be fine. I think he'll knock out Shamil Abdurakhimov in the first round, and I think he'll skyrocket his stock, and we'll be looking at Chris Daukaus fighting some legit contenders going into 2022. Chris Daukaus, knockout. Now, betting-wise, do you want to play this fight? Do you want to take that risk? Minus 180 for Daukaus is not bad. Plus 178. Heavyweight division is tricky. Fight ends inside the distance is minus 175. I think that's decent value. If Abdurakhimov were to win, it's probably a grinding decision. Daukaus, though, I see KO, TKO. That's plus 120. Not great plus money. Not loving it betting-wise. I'd rather just play Daukaus straight. Maybe parlay him up. I'm going Chris Daukaus. W, win by KO, TKO. And I do think first round, guys. We're going first round knockout. The next one, Dan Hooker, Nasrat, Haqparast. With tons of visa issues, we've still managed to get this excellent fight in the lightweight division. Hot prospect is Nasrat. Dan Hooker, still top of the line guy. I'm really excited to see how these two match up against each other. Range advantage, definitely towards Dan Hooker. Pretty slick with his kickboxing skills, nasty body kicks, good straight punches, solid takedown defense, and he's durable. Granted, against Chandler, one-touch KO. Chandler's one of the hardest punchers in the lightweight division. And let's be honest, Dan Hooker, he nearly died against Dustin Poirier. He took a ton of damage, but he had great moments there. Nasrat Haqparast is a tricky southpaw, skilled with his striking. Looping style of puncher, has really good rear overhand that he definitely could land and hurt Dan Hooker with here. And I feel like inside of the pocket, he is dangerous. Is Hooker's durability there? I believe it will be. I think it will be. I think Dan Hooker's in incredible shape for this one. Both guys are. Both guys had visa issues, but I'm really expecting a barn burner, potential fight of the night striking match. I think Dan Hooker wins. I think he will probably get the W, KO, TKO in the second or third round here. I'm going Dan Hooker for the knockout victory and what should be a swell fight. Minus 144 for Hooker, plus 150, Nasrat Haqparast. I prefer Hooker as a straight bet. Maybe you want to play over 1.5, minus 225, but leaning towards no personally. I don't want to go crazy with some potential prop bets on this fight. Hooker KO TKO is plus 275. I think he wins by KO TKO, but I much prefer betting minus 144 down than throwing at the KO TKO because I could see Hooker edging out a hard-fought decision as well. Dan Hooker for the W. Sweet bout in the lightweight division with implications because if Nasrat wins, he really emerges as a top contender now, and I do believe he has the skill set, but Hooker beats him. He stifles him. Now, this fight is a sweet, sweet, sweet featured bout of the night. My goodness. Stacked card. We needed this card because the fight night cards have been rough lately. I mean, for me, I love them, but I know people want big names on every card. They haven't been big name cards. This is a big name card. It's UFC 266, and it's a sweet main event, sweet co-main event, sweet feature bout of the night, sweet bouts all throughout, and this is another one of the sweet ones. You have former title challenger Marlon Moraes versus a straight machine. I mean, that's his nickname, Merab Dvalishvili. Chain wrestler versus striker. Striking versus grappling. That's what we're seeing here. Marlon Moraes, to me, has declined. And I'm just going to keep it 100, guys. He has declined. Merab Dvalishvili has hit his prime. He looks like a straight killer every single time we see him. The pressure wrestling will be hell. Sure, Marlon will have a chance for a counter KO. You need to watch out for his knees. You need to watch out for all of his big strikes. But I don't think it'll be enough here. There's Merab Dvalishvili in great shape. Marlon's in great shape as well. But I don't see that same Marlon Moraes that we had from the World Series of Fighting coming over. He's not there anymore at that same level. I don't believe he's going to beat the machine. I think this is Merab's time. Pressure wrestling. I see him putting this fight against the cage. Grinding Marlon Moraes for 3 rounds. Takedown after takedown. Attempts after attempts. Marlon's going to need to work some magic here. And I don't believe he will. I think it'll be extremely hard to beat a hungry and emerging as a top contender Merab Dvalishvili, especially these guys both the same size, but physical advantage. Clearly the stronger grappler, Merab Dvalishvili. In the clinch, he's going to be a bitch to deal with. It's Merab for the win in decision. Decision, not inside the distance. Decision. I don't think he'll get a finish here. He's more of a decision fighter, but dominant decisions. Minus 234, plus 215. Let's see. Over 1.5. Over. Fight goes the distance. Minus 163. Moraes, KO, TKO. What's that at? Plus 650? Moraes, KO, TKO, plus 650. It's juicy. Potential Hail Mary on that one. But I feel like Dvalishvili decision plus 110 is a lock. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be Merab running over Marlon. It'd be a good fight. Great featured bout of the night. Before we jump to pay-per-view, it's definitely going to sell some pay-per-views because I think that's a damn good matchup. We'll jump to the main card. If you haven't smashed the like button, we need 105 at least. I want to see more. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Show some love. Turn on those post notifications. I appreciate everybody who supports. You guys make this all possible. It really is appreciated. Much love to everybody who tunes into the show. Jessica Andrade versus Cynthia Calvillo. Now, this is a fight that I think is a clear-cut mismatch. Calvillo can wrestle. Her mediocre striking will not carry her through in this fight. Andrade is a straight killer. Common opponents were Caitlin Chukagian. Andrade runs her over. Calvillo gets ran over. Now, does that really matter? No. I think stylistically, it's a different matchup. Even at 115, I think Andrade throws around Calvillo. Yes, she's a decent wrestler. Andrade is at a different level. Nasty jiu-jitsu, explosive knockout power. As a female, she's like John Lineker. The way she closes the distance is second to none in women's fighting. Unfortunately, she got killed when she fought for the title against Valentina. But pretty much every girl is going to get killed by Valentina, especially when you're 5'1". This is a different matchup. I think Andrade finds a way to hurt Cynthia Calvillo. I could see Andrade running her over for just a lopsided 30-26 decision, but I actually think Andrade might get that late finish. 3rd round KO, TKO, Jessica Andrade here. We'll look at the weigh-ins there. Calvillo looking very good, as does Andrade. Very fun fight, but it's one-sided. Calvillo is going to get beaten. I see her getting stopped. Excuse me, guys. I'm coughing it out here, coughing out the remaining sickness, but definitely feeling a lot better. So that's great. Definitely, you can tell my intensity is at a different level than this week's best MMA bets. Jessica Andrade, minus 230, plus 225. Lock female Andrade. Don't bet the props on women's fighting. Probably don't bet women's fighting, period. But if you are, Andrade is a pretty great bet because she is a straight killer, and most of these girls will not be at her level. Even up a weight class, she'll have clear physical strength advantages. Plus 175, plus 215. I would rather just bet Andrade on a parlay in that, minus 250 range. I like Jessica for the W. I think she runs over Cynthia Calvillo. Probably decision, though. Dominant, but could be 3rd round KO. Curtis the Razor Blaydes. Jairzinho. Biggie Boy. Rosenstruik. Man, talk about a good matchup. Now, Jairzinho's not 6'4". Ignore that. He's about 6'1". Curtis Blaydes, the longer, taller fighter, clearly superior wrestler. Technically, he's not the better striker, though, I will say. Jairzinho Rosenstruik's kickboxing is legit. He ran over Augusto Sakai in the last fight. My fear is this takedown defense. Even his win against Alistair Overeem, we look here. The man was taken down on numerous occasions. How much has he closed the gap? And what was that, 3 years ago? No, that wasn't. That was not even 2 years ago. Holy shit. Jairzinho's active. Curtis Blaydes, on the other hand, unless you're the champion, Francis, or Derek Lewis, the craziest knockout artist in the fight game, you're probably going to lose to Curtis Blaydes. He's a hellish matchup for most heavyweights, especially somebody like Jairzinho, who, let's just say, wrestling has never been his main forte. He's not a grappler. He's a guy that wants to stand and bang. Curtis Blaydes is going to come out here fighting smart. He's definitely looking to right that wrong of the last one, which is the brutal loss to Derek Lewis. I believe he's going to come at Curtis with straight punches, setting up continuous takedowns. Jairzinho Rozenstruik will not stop Curtis's takedowns. It will be time and time again. I think Curtis Blaydes retains half guard. Potential KO TKO here, but I definitely think Curtis Blaydes could go all 3 rounds, winning just a lopsided decision. Safety first style, expect that out of Curtis, but he does win. He's a specimen. He's a very good fighter. Minus 300 to plus 280. Jairzinho has the knockout puncher's chance as an underdog. He always does. If you're betting $10 plus 1,000 Rozenstruik, Hail Mary it. But it should be dominant performance by Curtis Blaydes here. I expect him to run over Jairzinho Biggie Boy Rozenstruik in what should be a pretty good showcase fight for Curtis. And next, what's next for Jairzinho? It's got to be Derek Lewis. I need to see that fight. Don't care who wins, make the Derek Lewis fight. Doesn't matter. That's the next fight for Jairzinho. Now, the featured bout of the night, Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz. We'll look at we'll look at the weigh-ins here. Shirt on Robbie, but we know he's in good shape. I've seen some Instagram pics. There's Nick. I'll be honest, Nick does not look as lean as we saw in some of those triathlon pics from recently. Am I fearful with Nick Diaz? Well, what he said at the press conference wasn't super convincing, but that's Nick Diaz. That's kind of how he always is. The pitter-patting boxing, pressure-forward style, both guys southpaw, which is a good matchup. I think that favors Diaz. He sees southpaws all the time. He sees his brother Nate all the time. Now, granted, very different styles. Robbie's looking for knockout punches. Diaz is looking for peppering shots to slowly wear and tear you down. We're looking at 5 rounds. I think that Robbie Lawler is going to land his fair share of clean strikes, but he's going to be outpointed with the technical boxing. The volume will be too much. Nick Diaz should be in an excellent shape. When does he get tired? He never does. It doesn't matter what he says on the mic. Doesn't matter how he looks on the scales. Doesn't matter how nervous he looks in the face-off. That's Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz. I'm picking him. I got to ride with my man Nick Diaz. He's an underdog. And I do think he gets a 4th round KO. TKO. Probably like just peppering shots and then that's it. Stoppage. Nick Diaz. Plus 145. Robbie Lawler. Minus 115 at best value. Wow, interesting. You can find them at Pick'ems, but other places, Robbie's a huge favorite. I love that plus 145 tag on Diaz. It would be a riskier bet to play Nick, but he's an underdog that I see succeeding. Over 2.5, minus 160. If you can find that I think is very likely. It's going to be Diaz. Inside the distance, I believe KO TKO. Maybe he gets a submission and shocks us all. Plus 455, though, for Diaz for the W. Inside the distance, I think that's a better bet than throwing down on just a KO TKO in case somehow he gets some crazy submission off. It definitely could happen, though, Robbie, not an easy guy to tap. Diaz. Victory. Stoppage. 4th round. Nick Diaz is back. Who does he fight next? I don't know who the hell he's going to fight next, but it's going to be a huge fight. The Diaz brothers have their own belt. They only fight 5-round fights, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Next fight. Valentina Shevchenko, the most dynamic female in mixed martial arts, takes on Lauren Murphy. I guess maybe aside from Amanda Nunes, but you know what I'm saying. She's amazing. The only girl that's ever beaten her. Inside of the UFC. I mean, you look, she loses to Amanda Nunes, top of the line female. Valentina's striking is off the charts. Excellent Muay Thai, deadly kicks, improved grappling, very good top control, great ground and pound, submission defense is A1. She's a huge favorite here. Lauren Murphy on the other side, lucky Lauren Murphy. Does she get a little bit of luck? Can you imagine she gets a crazy knockout? Look at the recent wins. They haven't been bad. The competition is not at the level of Valentina. Murphy, striking-wise, had her test against JoJo Calderwood. Valentina is 10 times 10 JoJo. It's going to be Valentina picking apart Lauren Murphy and stopping her in the 3rd round. I think it is a beatdown. Watch out for the head kick KO. Murphy's boxing's okay. I think she's going to be clearly outstruck, though, here. I don't think she'll be able to get this fight to the floor. Nearly 40 years of age. She is 38. The younger fighter, Valentina Shevchenko, is in her true prime now. I think she's got some big fights left. She's been dominating the flyweight division for a long time. I expect the queen to stay on top. It's Valentina Shevchenko. KO TKO, round 3. Lauren's in great shape, though. Nonetheless, she's in great shape. The odds, minus 1,150, plus 980. Guys, you probably don't even want to touch this fight. The odds are just hideous. Over 1.5 is minus 210. Fight starts round 2, minus 300. I think minus 300 fight starts round 2 is a safer bet than anything here. Shevchenko, KO TKO, plus 120 at best value. No props for me on this fight. I'm not touching the prop lines. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody either. I think Valentina should get a victory inside the distance. Probably 3rd round KO. If you're feeling crazy, maybe play Lucky Lauren Murphy, but unlikely. The main event. Guys, if you haven't, smash the hell out of that like button. I need at least 105 likes on this weigh-in recap. Post weigh-in recap breakdown. Should be great stuff. Alexander Volkanovski, Brian Ortega. Let's look at them at the scales. Skinny boy Ortega. Thick boy Volk. 5'8", 5'6", but the reach lies with Volkanovski. His boxing skills very good. It's underrated, even though Volk has beaten even though Volk has beaten Max Holloway twice, he doesn't get the love. He doesn't get the respect. He's beaten Jose Aldo. He's beaten Chad Mendes. Volkanovski is one of the best featherweights we've ever seen, but he's not loved by fans of the sport, unfortunately, and he's not given enough credit. He's 22-1, and he's on an absolute tear. He's dominating all of his competition outside of Max Holloway. Excuse me, guys. Brian Ortega on the other side comes back and puts a beatdown on Chan Sung Jung. It was one-sided. It was a fantastic performance, and he showed dynamic striking. His striking's improved tenfold since his fight against Max Holloway, but that's not going to be enough for Volkanovski. Volk will get inside, rip him with the cleaner strikes. Brian Ortega's best chance is a submission off of his back here. Volkanovski's top game will be impeccable. I do think he'll potentially get on top here and will not be threatened by Brian Ortega. I think Volkanovski works towards a very hard-fought, unanimous decision win, 49-46. It's the Volkanovski show here. I see him beating T-City. I think he's going to get inside the distance, land the cleaner strikes, get on top, have clinch dominance. I don't think T-City is ready for what's going to come with Alexander Volkanovski. But T-City definitely has a possible chance, for sure. He could land a head kick, could land a wild uppercut, could get the submission. I mean, when you've been on a tear as long as Volk has, losses will eventually come. I just don't think T-City's necessarily the guy. I feel like Volk wins, and then a trilogy against Max Holloway is possible if Max beats Yair Rodriguez, which is a hell of a fight. That's going to be fantastic. I literally cannot wait to break that fight down. Minus 160, plus 163. I like Volkanovski all day here. I think if you're going to bet, over 2.5 is minus 225. That's not a bad bet. Fight goes the distance, minus 130. I do think it goes the distance. I don't think it's like a beatdown that we saw Max Holloway give Brian Ortega, but I think it's a one-sided performance with Alexander the Great Volkanovski getting a W. What a card. What a card. UFC 266 coming with some straight fire. Cannot wait to see it. If you're looking to parlay some things up, we talked about it on this week's Best MMA Bets, but I will give it some more love here. I mean, if you can get the over-unders, if you can possibly parlay up, the Merab Marlon over 1.5. I know it's minus 400 and it's ugly, but I don't think it's a bad bet. I think then you play that with the champ Volk, Omar Morales down low, plus 219. You're feeling ballsy as hell? Are you? Because if you are, there's also somebody you could add in. I do think Andrade, plus 341. Nick Diaz, if you're a nut job, plus 906. Semelberger should definitely win, plus 430. Brundrage, a dog, plus 836. There's definitely some swell bets. Parlay-wise, I would not do more than 3 in a parlay. But if you're looking to Hail Mary it, you could do this 4-fighter parlay. I'll take Andrade out of there, though, because I don't want to lead you down a bad path. Plus 219. And if you're not even feeling that over 1.5, if you're like, listen, man, I can't play it, my bookie don't allow it, don't feel bad. You're getting plus 155 for Volk and Morales, the first and the last fight of the night. Those are the money ones. We're getting money on this parlay. Cannot wait for it. Overall, should be a swell card. I'm pretty excited. Curtis Blaydes should win, but the knockout power of Rosenstruik would be a little bit scary. And you'd definitely be shitting your pants throughout the whole thing. See, Jalin Turner would be plus 415. Semelberger should win at plus 206 if you wanted to add him in as well. Overall, some solid plays you can make. If you want to go nuts, maybe do a straight Nick Diaz army bet so you can shit your pants that whole fight. Should be a lot of fun. Overall, UFC 266 is a sweet card. I really appreciate everybody tuning into the show. I hope you guys enjoyed this weigh-in recap. Much love to all my supporters, everybody for tuning in. Smash the likes. We need at least 105. I want to see more. Subscribe if you are new here and turn on those post notifications. Much love to everybody. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great night, everybody.